everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Political Forum. We're spotlighting a lot of the aldermanic races that are going to run off elections. And with us is Marvin McNeil, who's an aldermanic candidate with the 21st Ward. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, folks. So now's your chance. You're going to get a chance to know more about Mr. McNeil as we will move forward to the April 2nd election. So let's start this off. So you came in second in the 21st ward race with about around 25, a little bit more than 25% of the vote. For people who may not know, a lot about you, why don't you tell people who you are?
I'm Marvin McNeil. I ran previously in 2015. I lost that race by around 300 votes. And I am a retired former city inspector, zoning code enforcer. I have experience in neighborhood development. I know a lot of things in zoning, basically zoning compliance. So
as we move forward to the April 2nd election, there's a lot that's on the plate, and there's a lot of stuff that I want to go over with you. The number one thing is when you're looking at the election we just had in February, turnout was low. It's somewhere, it's one of the lowest on record. Somewhere about 1 in 3 people, registered voters, voted.
That's correct.
What's your take on that? Obviously, as you're canvassing the ward, as you're around the city, what are you hearing, and why do you think people, didn't turn out in February?
A couple of things. One is the weather. Mm-hmm. It wasn't the polar vortex, but it was very close to it. I was out there at the early voting site in the 21st Ward every day, and it was cold. And then people using any other excuse that they can why they shouldn't vote. One is the current state of the city of Chicago as it relates to crime. We don't see anything happening with it. It's an obstacle course. We're driving through the neighborhood of the 21st Ward with potholes, and you get your complaints, and as the people call the alderman's office expressing their concerns in the community, they're either saying they need to join their block club, they're not getting the assistance that they believe they should have, and they're frustrated. Mm-hmm. They're frustrated. They see TV. They see what's going on in the community, in the city, and a lot of the residents on the south and west sides don't feel a part of the process.
And I know that you're passionate about this too. You're frustrated with some of the things. So let's get into it. First thing I want to talk about is TIFs. And what's your take on them? Because as currently constructed in a TIF district, taxes, are taken from the growth of property values or set aside for a little more than 2 decades, and that can be used to support public projects or support, private development. Does this program need to change?
It needs to. What the TIF needs to do is they need to have the TIF function the way they said it was supposed to function originally. My problem with TIFs is that what they promised us, we're not using. They try to make the process so difficult that most aldermen don't want to touch it. They wait for guidance from City Hall, and what is City Hall going to do? They're going to use it for downtown. They're going to use it for areas that are more upscale, and so they can get. And they're at the total. They're ignoring the communities that TIF was designed for.
Right, like right now, actually, what's in the news is what's going on over at Lincoln Yards, where people are up in arms about, what is this the correct way, to spend the money? Exactly.
I'm asking at this point. I'm asking Alderman Brookins not to sign off on, not vote for that TIF in the Lincoln Yards area. Mm-hmm. They don't need it. If that project will continue with or without that TIF funding, and it's $900 million. It's disrespectful that any alderman's office, any particular ward or area should get $900 million of TIF funding, especially an area that doesn't need it.
Mm. And so, like what you mentioned a little bit before, when you're walking around the ward, you see where that money can go towards.
Absolutely. And now, what I plan on doing, I'm going to have a demand, a demand for City Hall to repair or replace every sidewalk, street, alley, and curb on the south and west sides of Chicago within 4 years. You know, people say, you're over-promising. That's not a promise, that's a demand. People are entitled to that type of thing. What I'm looking at is for the entire South and West Side, $900 million could do exactly what I said, repair or replace every sidewalk, street, alley, or curb, and have money left over. You know, imagine what the accolades of aldermen would get if they came by and all their streets are paved, all their curbs. We still have gravel alleys in our ward. We have curbs that people are creating out of railroad ties and trees that they're cutting down. 2 blocks away from the alderman's his home. They know it.
So what do you say to voters? Because you know when people are going to the polls, especially back in February and also coming up in April, it's people know the incumbent, and it's because people are used to the name of all incumbents, people who are running the race.
Yes.
So talk about that. Is what are you doing to differentiate and get your name out there?
I have mailers, and matter of fact, I had 3 mailers explaining my positions, my platforms, some of my accomplishments, and also something that my plans and platforms for the board. I can't say I've been talking with the U.S. Postal Service because I told them I explained my frustrations where there's many of my mailers never were received by the residents. And they said, well, that could, no, they delivered the mail. I said, I don't know what's the problem, but I haven't received some of my mailers. I'm not going to lie on me. And so there's a lot of I went through just basically some of my reporters said, we haven't heard nothing from you. We don't have any information on you. And like I said, that was basically $5,000 each time I did that mailing. So it's, I don't have a wealth of a campaign fund like my incumbent does. So that type of thing, it matters to me. And that's one of the main ways in which I can communicate with the entire ward. Our ward is huge. It's from the Dan Ryan to Damon, 99th to 79th Street. So I wouldn't be able to contact every person between now and Election Day if I just walked the whole entire block and they were standing out in front of their homes.
Well, there's a way that people can learn more about you, and that's by going to your website, which we're going to show right here. It's marvinmcneil.biz, marvinmcneil.biz. This is where people can learn more about you. They can meet you. They can also learn more about your platform and why you're running, and basically how to get involved. Learn more about also the community in the ward. So there's a lot of things that the people can do there, and so that's one great way for people to learn more about you. So
yes.
Now back to the issues. Another issue that a lot of people are concerned about are taxes. Homeowners are concerned about taxes. Chicagoans are concerned about taxes. They've gone up, and it looks like the pension bills are coming up down the road with the city. A lot of people are thinking that they're going to be paying again for their taxes are going to go up. It's going to go back to Chicagoans. What's your take on that?
We have I'm sure that the incoming mayor will have several issues they might want to address. I know one would be one of my main things is everybody needs to pay their fair share. We have a financial institution in downtown, and so far as a transfer tax, I think we can have a small transfer tax on some of these financial transactions where they can start paying some of their fair share. So we're not trying to hurt them, not trying to hurt their industry or anything, but that's one avenue that we can get revenue. We're taxing everything and everybody for everything, and it's their turn in line, I believe.
And moving forward along that, so you talked about the mayor. So that's also beside your race. So they're also running for the mayors. We have 2 women, African American women, who are going to be. One of them is going to come out and leading the city. What's your take on that? I'd
like to say this. I want to enjoy Christmas right now because I'm happy and elated that we do have 2 African American females that's gonna be. One of them is going to be mayor. I would like them to win over the public with their platforms and win over the residents of the 21st Ward with what they're going to do for the black community in terms of jobs, in terms of pushing that, imagine what would happen if they signed on and said, yeah, we're going to repair and replace every sidewalk, curb. It's going to be a total infrastructure improvement on the south and west sides. We've never had that. Matter of fact, my sidewalks, there's someplace on there on my Facebook page, I have my sidewalks in front of my home is my main page. And some of the pictures I have. Never had, I saw the trademark on the sidewalks, 1934. These are one-time projects, one and done. If they replace my sidewalks, me and probably my children will be long gone by the time they need to be replaced again.
So besides infrastructure, also like a lot of people are concerned about crime
Yes.
in the city.
Yes.
And it seems like we're going years and years and years where there's no real answer for it and there's no real remedy for it.
Okay, first we need to do is I want to have an ordinance or request from the city that we hire licensed private investigators to help solve some of these gun crimes and some of these murders. When people start getting caught for doing this, the murders will slow down and they'll stop. It's a trend, and the reason it's a trend because they can shoot a gun and get away with it a lot quicker than they can steal something from Walmart.
And then along those lines too, you're talking about the guns. Also, that's another thing. These guns keep on coming into the city. So do you see the relationship between crime and these guns? Obviously.
Yes, and you know something. What I see is there's the relationship with the police department as well. Mm-hmm. What I like to see the police department do is to take on the policy of not having officers write parking tickets. It's a waste of resources, and it doesn't help the image of the police by giving a parking ticket. We don't need a police officer to give a parking ticket to anyone. But I would like to moratorium on the red light cameras and the speed cameras, and have the police officers monitor who breaks the law on traffic stops. Because instead of having what they used to they would say they have a decree or something where you can't they don't want stop and frisk anymore. Mm-hmm. Well, if you see a car of four guys running a red light, they don't care about a speed camera. They don't care about a red light camera because the car probably be stolen. And so that's not their light. The ticket won't come to their homes. But if a police officer see there's a probable cause to find out, hey, where you going? Did you see that light? And now they have a reason to go and look into the cars and find out what's going on. And running red lights, speeding, instances where they, usually people who are up to doing having nefarious activity going on, that's what they usually do.
Mm-hmm. And so when you're looking at that, because now that you're falling under also broadly more like criminal justice reform. Yes, we're talking about crime, because but there's also, do you see ways that we can reform the criminal justice system in Chicago? Yes,
and I think one of the things I would like to see is, and like I said, it's just a multi-point endeavor with criminal justice reform. One, I like to dig into that police contract. I think in some issues there it's very lenient. I would like to see malpractice insurance or professional liability insurance for police officers. The city of Chicago can't continue to take these multi-million-dollar hits for inappropriate behavior of police officers. Mm-hmm. And guess what? When they have to do pay the premium out of their pocket, it kind of curbs your behavior. You make you think twice, or it makes your partner, hey, I'm gonna step up, dude. This what you're getting ready to do is not right. I don't want to see an increase of my premium again. Mm-hmm. And I think things, and one thing also is that police officers, they tend to take a second job. And I don't know why, but it's usually in the security field. They might nightclub or a grocery store. And once they leave their job employment as a police officer, they're not covered liability-wise, when they're on these second jobs, that professional liability insurance will carry over to that other job, and hell, they want to be protected. So that I think that in a sense it helps them as well as help to frame their behavior.
So you're talking about before you were talking about a moratorium on the red light cameras and whatnot. Another issue is talking about charter schools. There's charter schools are popping up, and some people are saying there should be a moratorium on that. When you're looking at the school system, first of all, are you pleased, happy? What's your take just overall on CPS schools?
I think the CPS schools went from schools that really worked. I went to Dunbar Vocational High School. I came out with a trade. I saw aviation, auto mechanics, auto body mechanics. I saw all different tailoring shops, and people, the kids, they either went to school, went on to a 4-year education, which I did, or they had a trade, and which I did. I got the best of both where I can fix my car out there right now, But right now it has gotten to a point of it's a lot of frustration amongst the students and the teachers, and they're looking at the advent. I don't see anything positive that has came out of creating charter schools when we it was just a carryover of problems. It went from the public sector to the public-private sector, because they're still CPS schools, whether they want to say so or not. There's a new, the alderman, and Alderman Brookins has, he's the current chairman of the Education Committee. I got, last time I ran in 2015, I went before the Chicago Teachers Union for endorsement. I was very surprised that they decided to be neutral. And I asked one of them in confidence of, well, what's the real deal? I don't understand. He just closed 50. He signed off on closing 50 schools. It seemed like it was a no-brainer endorsement to me. But he's still the chairman of the Education Committee. And so if you don't want to change, if you want to keep the status quo, I don't see how you punish people who are suppressing you or oppressing you. So and again, they stay neutral. So but there's a lot we have to build on. I'm glad that the charter schools are unionized. So it kind of and I think the city of Chicago or the Board of Education would have preferred that they stayed non-union. I have relatives in my family that are teachers, special ed teachers, charter school teachers, and public school teachers, and it's a growing issue. I don't think it has stopped. The charter school system has stopped growing yet, and I think changes are still in process for the public school system.
So if you're elected, looking at the schools, like, is there anything that you would do, in terms of CPS schools? Would you want charter schools to continue to grow? Would you really fight to keep CPS schools open? What would you do?
Moratorium, no more charter schools. No more. I do not believe that we need more. We have enough to specialize, whatever, and as the ones progress, we keep them. We have. I'm hearing where they're successful charter schools that they're closing, and then there's others that they're just not giving the teachers aren't getting the support they need to make the school as successful as it could be. We have to bring more trade schools back and bring more trades in, because college is expensive now.
Oh yeah.
I want my children to have the option of having a good career or a good education. But right now, as it stands now, the way public education is in Illinois and across the country, these kids need options of having a career or not coming out of school owing as much for the education that they just received without any guarantee of employment.
So now let's switch gears a little bit and talking about bringing economic development to the ward. Are you happy with where you are and where the ward is right now, where the 21st ward is? Is there room for improvement? What do you believe?
The 21st ward has the largest largest shopping center on the south side of Chicago. Problem is it's poorly maintained. It's disgracefully maintained. There is so much filth and trash through that shopping mall. There's no guidance, no structure in place for it. This is the only ward in the city that has a shopping center that large without a chamber of commerce. I mentioned that 5 years ago when I ran that I wanted to create a chamber of commerce. The Alderman Brookins tried to start one. It worked about a month, and he saw it was more work than he wanted to take on. So I have the expertise to help establish that chamber of commerce, and then you need leadership and guidance. You're not going the managers and the owners of those of Walmart and Home Depot and Marshalls and all of them. They're not going to get together just to chit chat and look each other in the face. But the residents need a central place that they can go to voice concerns, complaints, and compliments. We have, for instance, and it not just covers the maintenance of the thing, but AutoZone. We just had an incident there about 2 months ago, where a gentleman was killed. He was ran over by a car. In the rear of AutoZone, it's a little makeshift shop. Basically alley mechanics back there. Repairing people's cars. They go to AutoZone, get the parts, fix them in the back. AutoZone said, that's not my property. They said, we're good, but that's not our property back there. Altercation, one of the mechanics ran over in frustration, ran over the other mechanics dispute over money. Well, if you had an active Chamber of Commerce, send the Director of Security to go back there and clear that out. You can't fix cars back here. It's not our move. I have a clip on my Facebook page, and that's Marvin McNeil, and what it shows is the amount of garbage back there. We have a Home Depot, and then right from Home Depot there's a wrought iron fence, tons of trash. There's a couch sitting right next to a wrought iron fence, and it goes all the way up to the theater in the area. Now, especially when we talk about what type of products are there and what people would like to buy, black folks are consumers, but we like what we like. I had an event I wanted to go to. I didn't want to get a clean shirt, so I said I'll just go to Marshalls and buy one. They don't sell collared shirts. Imagine that. You got a Marshalls that don't. I said, what? And I asked them, where's the shirts at? We don't sell them. You got to go to Burlington. I said, you got to be kidding me. So there's a reason why in Chatham, Target closed. Out in the 34th Ward, Target closed. The buyers, that would have been a subject that the Chamber of Commerce could have addressed. Hey, we want some. I said, who buys the clothes? Who buys the clothes? I don't know, but I wish I could pick them. I said, I'm looking at urban wear. So I'm running around in Target looking for a shirt to buy, a collared shirt, and all they have is FUBU or something with designs on them, or T-shirts and sweatshirts with designs on them. No casual pants. I said, I like some dress slacks and a collared shirt.
So how do you change it? So how do you get these? Is it through the chamber that you're saying that would help get more diversity in terms of product in these stores, actually bring more diverse stores into the ward as well?
Absolutely, and it's not just we would like to see some buyers that's from our community to bring the product in. We have a Walmart. People had them on blast for about 5 days from the deep snow. When are they going to shovel their sidewalks? They are asking the alderman office that we're working on it now. How can't the alderman direct a store not to pay to shovel their sidewalks? And along there, you wouldn't believe it, but the residents of 21st Ward knows we have storage shipping containers, probably a block long, in the parking lot. We're parking on the sidewalk on outside of the store parking lot, a massive parking lot, but there's no place to park. It's always crammed parking because Target is placing their storage containers there and their recycled bundles of cardboard outside in the parking lot. Now, there's so many storage containers. It just begs the question: all these items cannot be for this Walmart. So Walmart has gotten comfortable enough to store their storage containers here, probably buying it bulk from China, and they sit it here and wait until another store needs it. They get a semi and they pick it up and take it to the location.
So as we wrap up the show, so like try to wrap up, the reasons why, and you can look at the camera and
Yes.
tell people why, what do you see? What's your vision for the ward for Chicago, and why people should vote for you?
What I'm promising is I am going to fight for us in City Hall, for the residents of the 21st Ward, and also for the residents of the city of Chicago. We need an alderman that's going to be there for us. And so when issues of concern for the entire community comes up, you'll have someone that's speaking in your behalf. I sincerely believe that change is necessary in the 21st Ward, and I am that change. So I'm asking for your support. I'm Marvin McNeil. You can reach me at, is it okay to give my telephone number?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, 773-407-3884. That is not an office number, that's my cell phone number. I'm not scared to talk to anyone or anybody about anything. And my email address is marvinmcneil@gmail.com. So I appreciate your support. I'm willing to come out with a coffee sip, if it's 2 people or 20, and we can do this thing. We need change in our ward. You see the obstacle course that you are driving through every day that you go to and from home. So I need your support, and I appreciate you.
So once again, we're going to show your website and how people can also reach you. That's marvinmcneil.biz. That's Marvin, Marvin, McNeil, McNeil.biz. All right. Well, that about wraps it up. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for the opportunity.
You bet. And thank you, viewers, for tuning in. You've been watching Political Forum. Again, don't forget that the runoff election is on Tuesday, April 2nd, so be sure to go out and vote. And until then, everyone have a great day.